I used to try and teach them all these things that I know, and they would keep failing and stumbling. I'm like, why can't they figure this out? I was like, okay, wait a minute. They don't even understand the basics of this. And so I was like, okay. Before we get into this deep stuff, I'm going to show you a few cool things. You're going to like it. You're going to see some results. And then we've got to go back to the basics, and we've got to get in this day one challenge. And we've got to get your mind to understand that on the other side of this discipline is the reward that you're looking for. Welcome to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you clean up the mess in your head. I'm your host, Sergeant Q, and with me today, my wife, Holly. It's been a while since you and I have done a podcast.
It has, yeah.
Well, coming into 2026, these last few years for us have been moving really fast. I think we've tried to slow down. We even talked about retirement at one point, but God had other plans for us. And so we've been moving very fast, actually, and building companies quickly. And the traction's been hard to keep pace with. And so one of the things that really helps me is having a structure, being very disciplined in my morning and in my evening and throughout my day. And it's helped me tremendously. And I know you gave me a ton of pushback for a long time about getting up and having a morning routine.
I did. It would drive me nuts. 5 a.m. I'd be woken up to motivational speeches on your phone playing from the bathroom. And it was extremely difficult. There was a little bit of jealousy, I think, in the fact that you could be so disciplined. And I was very much like not going to do it. And I kind of dug my heels in. So I think that there was probably a little bit of resistance that played a factor in. Well, I mean, it's been 15 years. So a little bit of resistance. However, watching what it's done for you, and like you were saying, it's been a crazy ride recently. Not that our entire life together hasn't been, but I had to do something. I knew that I had to make a change if I was going to be able to continue at the pace that I wanted to keep.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't I have to do this or I'm going to fail. It was, if I want this life, if I want what I say that I want, which is, to be driven, to be disciplined, these are the things that I'm going to have to do. And I think there was a lot of pushback from me because you're my husband. And I watched Doc Jess do the same things that you do. And I watched how it impacted her life and how she's now out there doing these marriage classes. And
well, first she went and got her education.
Right.
And then she was struggling balancing work and this new practice and her, being a wife and being a deacon at the church and all of these things that she had to juggle. And she's looking at me like, how do you do all of this? I said, look, you've been doing great in everything else. You've been crushing it, and you could just stay right there and you'd be just fine. Maybe just take it down a notch or two. But if you want to compete in life at this level, at the level I'm at, you've got to get super disciplined, super early in the morning and right before you go to bed. Like that's the golden 20 minutes on both ends of your day. And I just shared that, and she took off. And the same thing, the resistance that you had, Billy, her husband, had the same resistance. He was like, no, I hate this. You're getting up too early. You're waking me up. He hated it. And I had a conversation with him. I said, just try it, man. Just give it a shot and see what happens. And that guy absolutely loves it. He hasn't stopped. And in everybody he meets, he tells them the exact same thing. Like, hey, get in this day one challenge. It's going to change your life.
Well, you want to know the funny thing is that I started doing those things and it didn't take away all of my problems. It didn't take away my anxiety. Like right now, doing these podcasts isn't easy for me. You can probably hear my stomach just rumbling, right? I have an upset tummy. I don't love being on camera. I don't love this, right? I'm a behind the scenes, behind the camera kind of girl. So it didn't take those things away, but what it did is it gave me the discipline to push through those things and do the hard things.
Right.
It really allowed me to do that, and I'm actually on day 15 of the 45-day challenge,
The day one check.
the day 1 challenge, and I'm not necessarily waking up at 5 AM when you do, but the first 20 minutes of my day are a routine. So it wasn't necessarily that it has to be this 4 AM, this 5 AM, wake up, get up, do life, right? I do it now at 7, and I'm actually gonna have to step that back a little bit because I wanna add in the gym,
Mhm.
but it's allowed me the discipline to do the hard things. So I've gotta say, and I'll do it on camera for you. So my husband was right. Having a morning routine absolutely changed everything about my life, and having a night routine has made all of that so much easier too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's what I try to explain to people. I used to try and teach them all these things that I know, and they would keep failing and stumbling. I'm like, "Why can't they figure this out?" I was like, "Okay, wait a minute. They don't even understand the basics of this thing." Like, I'm trying to get these guys to ride a 10-speed bike and shift gears and move, and they don't even know how to balance yet or pedal. And so I was like, "Okay, uh, before we get into this deep stuff, like I'm gonna show you a few cool things. You're gonna like it. You're gonna see some results, and then we got to go back to the basics, and we've got to get in this day one challenge, and we've got to get your mind to understand that there on the other side of this discipline is the reward that you're looking for, and that's really the truth of it. Your brain wants dopamine and oxytocin, serotonin, it wants that. Now you can get those things from social media. You can jump on your phone and get them, but it's not good. It's really not good for you because then you're stuck on social media all day and you don't accomplish anything and then you feel even worse.
Yeah.
So, to avoid that, we teach you how to build dopamine through discipline. And dopamine is a chemical that your brain releases when you accomplish a goal, which gives you motivation to do the next thing. So people are like, I got to get motivated to go to the gym. I'm like, no, man, just go to the gym. You're not going to feel like it, but go anyway. When you go, you're going to feel better. You're going to get dopamine. You're going to get oxytocin. You're going to get endorphins. These are chemicals your body and your brain need. And once you get those, then you're going to be motivated to stay in the gym, to push a little bit harder, to do those things. And this is what I try to get people to understand. So, as the new year just started, everybody's like, I want to hit the gym, I want to lose weight, I want to, advance in my career, I want to start my own business, all these things they want to do. The number one thing that it takes to accomplish all of those things, discipline.
Mhm.
Discipline. And if you lack discipline, none of those things are going to work out for you. I guarantee it. I guarantee it within 100% that you will not accomplish any of those things if you do not have discipline first. And anybody who is successful will tell you the exact same thing. Don't believe me. Go to somebody you know that is really successful. Talk to your boss, talk to the owner, talk to somebody you know that's really successful and ask them, what did discipline do for your success? And I guarantee you they will not stop talking about it. They're going to share with you all the daily disciplines that they have. None of those guys are going to be like, I just kind of phone it in. I wake up and just take the day as it is. People do that, but they're not going to be the people who are starting businesses, growing industries, writing books, building things. Like those aren't going to be the people doing that. Now, this isn't for everybody. I'm just going to tell you. The majority of you listening right now are going to have these ideas of grandeur and want to do these things, but very few of you are actually going to get them done. Those are the numbers. I'm not trying to make you feel disheartened. I'm trying to tell you these are the numbers. And so if you want to have success, if you want to be in that 5 to 10% of people that will actually accomplish big goals this year, you've got to get really small in your discipline. Discipline through small daily activities. Things that you think, like, how is getting up at 5 in the morning, reading my Bible, listening to a motivational speech, and journaling, how are those 3 things going to help me build my business? On the surface, it doesn't look like that'll help you at all. But when you dig just under the surface, what you're doing is you're building new neural connections in your brain, telling your brain, we are disciplined. We accomplish goals every day. And so your brain is going to say, okay, and we're going to continue to accomplish goals all day long. And you're going to crush it. And you're going to get promoted. And you're going to build a business. And you're going to lose weight and whatever else that you want to accomplish. but it starts with those small daily disciplines.
Well, I think that another problem that we have is, one, motivation's a feeling. All of us on January 1st were motivated. And if all it took was motivation to succeed, we'd all succeed, right? But motivation being a feeling, it stops. It stops at the first hurdle, the bad day. I've had a bad day. I'm breaking my diet. I'm tired. I'm not going to the gym. And then another part of that is what you consider success. So not every one of us is going to start a business. Not every one of us is going to write a book. Not every one of us is going to do something that we think the world says is grand. A lot of us are going to keep our house clean. We're going to meal prep.
Yeah.
We're going to raise our kids. That's success, right? And so not comparing yourself to what the world thinks is successful or what other people necessarily think is successful. Being successful is deciding what you want to do and being disciplined in that.
And then accomplishing.
And accomplishing it.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I say it doesn't matter what it is that you want to do out there. They could be a small goal. It could be, hey, I want to be able to make sure that I have enough energy to spend 20 minutes with my kids when I get home before they go to bed. But you've got to start small with these small disciplines. Otherwise, you're going to get to the end of the day. You're going to be tired and be like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you never do.
Right. And what's funny is that with the day 1 challenge, it took me until about day 10 before I was looking for the text message. In the morning, first thing, I'm like, where's my text message, right? Up until that point, it was sometimes laying down in bed going, oh, crap, I didn't do it today, and having to just kind of check a box. So it took me about 10 days to get into that searching for it and that want and that drive and that desire for it. So the discipline doesn't come overnight is what I'm trying to say. And when we set a task for ourselves, a lot of us are going to start that business. We're going to start that book. We're going to start this great big thing and never finish.
Right.
And never follow through. So that's where the discipline is going to come in, because anybody can do those things. Anybody can start a book. Anybody can start a company. Washington State's $125 on the internet. It'll take you about 5 minutes to start a company. But starting's not the issue.
You're right. It's not. Washington State is a great example. To start a business is super easy. $125 in about 20 minutes worth of work. You can start a business. But by the end of year 1, 47% of those businesses have failed. And by year 10, only 12% are still operating. 12%. We're the worst state in the country to try and start a business. Absolutely the worst. But the example that you gave is that if you don't have those disciplines, you'll never finish. It's easy to start, hard to finish. We've built 4 companies right here in Washington State because we're very disciplined on what we do.
Absolutely. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I don't lack motivation. You don't lack motivation. We have 25 projects and 25 companies sitting in our parking lot of ideas that are probably never going to see the light of day.
I know. You have been like, we got to start this business. I'm like, it's so lucrative. I'm like, no, I had 2 startups going right now. I am slowing down over these next 3 years, not speeding up. And so, yes, could I start that business? Absolutely. Could I crash it? Yes. Could I do $1 million in a year? Probably pretty easy. Do I want to do that? No.
And that's the discipline, because you have the motivation to make the money.
Oh, sure.
But you understand the discipline that it takes to succeed in that. And we talked about it today in church. You want to finish well. And if you're trying to do too many things and be too many things to too many people without the discipline, which part of discipline is having boundaries.
Yeah, just being able to say no.
It's being able to say no. And I talked about this a little bit on my social media. You're not going to be everything to everybody.
Right.
And so trying to do that is setting yourself up to fail. So with these goals, you don't want to set yourself up to fail. And you have taught this to me through the years, because, January 1, I'm like, I'm starting the gym. I'm doing all of these things. And you're going, babe, that's a list of like 15, 20 things. You're setting yourself up for failure. And the other side to that was, I'm going to wait till Monday. I'm going to wait till the 1st. So I have all these big plans and all this motivation, but for some reason, magically, you can't start until the 1st. So what you had me do this year was, as soon as I came up with an idea or something that I wanted to accomplish, I started it right away. I'm doing a hormone replacement therapy, and I started right away. I didn't wait for the new year. I didn't wait for that magical January 1st.
Yeah.
I started it as soon as I was like, this is something I want to accomplish. And then I'm adding in things as my discipline builds so that it's easier for me to succeed, because now I've built discipline in one area so I can continue with that discipline in the other areas.
Yeah, it's like snowball effect, because what you're doing is you're disciplining your brain. So
Mhm.
a lot of people think like, I'm stuck in this rut. I don't know how to get out of this rut. Your brain needs the rut. It has to live in the rut. It's called a neural pathway. It's how your brain functions. So think about it like this. If you're on a dirt road and you're driving along and this dirt road, you slide into a rut. It's really hard to get yourself out of that rut. Very difficult. And you just have to travel quite a bit, get some speed, get out of it, or have somebody pull you out of the rut. But before too long, you slide right back into that same rut.
Mhm.
It's really hard to get out of. So instead of trying to drive on the shoulders and waiting to slide into the rut, you've got to get out and you actually have to fix the road. You have to create a new pathway so it's easier to travel on your vehicle. Now, it's the same thing with your brain. Your brain has pathways, neural pathways that will automatically get you to where you want to go. So if you have negative coping behaviors, if you constantly date the wrong person, and people say, I don't know why I find all the bad guys, I did always date the jerks. It's like, yeah, because you've trained your brain to follow that neural pathway
Mhm.
to the jerks. You've got to do the hard work to rebuild a new neural pathway, to be disciplined to say no when recognize red flags and then be able to say no when you see them and move on. These are things that most people never even recognize that are out there, are these new neural pathways.
Well, it's not just recognizing the red flags, because we actually recognize the red flags, and oftentimes that's what draws us to that person,
Mhm.
right? Because our brain says, we like this, we do this. This is the path that we always take. This is the rut. So we see the red flags. Now, we don't have the discipline to say, we're going to stop here
Right,
and I'm going to go a different direction.
right,
And that's where the discipline comes into play.
right.
I've been fortunate that I get a lot of one-on-one coaching. I do. Whether or not I listen to it all the time is a whole nother episode. But there's so much value in mental health coaching as a group,
It's true.
because from my experience with it and with your coaching and having you help me through a lot of my mental health struggles, is that trauma is trauma. A lot of pushback that I've seen, not just in myself, but in other people that we've helped along the way, is that they think that their trauma doesn't compare to somebody else's,
Mhm.
or they think that their trauma is bigger than somebody
Yeah.
else's. So you have a certain set of trauma. I mean, you've got your childhood trauma, you've got the military trauma. I have childhood trauma, and I have a whole nother set of trauma through being trafficked. And for the longest time, I was like, it's not the same. We're not comparing apples to apples, right? Because I didn't see combat. I wasn't in the
Mhm.
military. But the same principles that you teach applied to me. And so watching you teach all of the veterans when we go to Mexico with Q missions, I was able to apply some of that to myself. And it really helped me get out of those ruts of, oh my gosh, I'm crazy. There's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I'm this and I'm that. Trauma's trauma. It does the same things to your brain, and it creates those same broken neural pathways
Mhm.
and the same set of principles that you teach when you're teaching people that there's healing through serving other people. Helped my brain create new pathways, even though the context might be different for our trauma, the solution's still the same.
You're absolutely right. It is. Trauma, it gives you maladaptive coping mechanisms. So what does that mean? That means that it gives you bad ways that you handle stress and trauma. And it doesn't matter how you experience it, the end result is always the same, always the same. I watch people melt down on TikTok and YouTube, and I'm looking at that saying, "Oh yeah, that is definitely some trauma. That is a trauma response. That's
Mhm.
some trauma in their life they haven't dealt with. Something that person said triggered it, and then they ended up on World Star, right? It I see it. I'm like, "Oh, I pick it out right away because 'cause I've been doing this so long, I understand how the brain works, and now I'm just trying to teach that to other people. So for the last 2 years, I've been teaching this not just to veterans,
Mhm.
but to civilians. And I gotta be honest, I think I was getting burned out. I mean, I'm doing this every week. I'm doing one-on-ones with people. I'm flying out, a couple times a month and putting on 4-day seminars, week-long seminars, teaching this to people. And these people groups do really, really good. I leave and then they slowly start to drop off. And so they call me back and I come back and everybody loves it and it's great. I mean, if I wanted to just do that the rest of my life, I've done enough, contracts. I could just do that. But I want to make bigger impact. I want to be able to help more people. And so all last quarter, I spent time building out an online learning system.
Mhm.
That way people can access these teachings without ever having met me in person. Because it's kind of expensive to fly me out
Mhm.
and go to one of these things. And I really tried to lower the bar as much as I could so people could gain access to this and get the help they need and rebuild their mental resilience without having to spend thousands of dollars to go to one of these seminars. Now, people still do it, right? And the people who do go, they get access to it as well. So it's even better for them because they get to meet with me in person. I get to teach these things. They get to be in the room and we discuss it. And then they have the follow on lessons. So it works both ways. And it's just a way for me to kind of broaden that impact.
One of the things that I gave you pushback on when you were presenting this idea to me was I've taken courses, I've signed up for coaching, and it felt very impersonal,
Right.
right? I got a download, I read a little handout, and then, I watched some videos, which is how most people do their
Mhm.
online coaching.
Mhm.
But when you told me that it was this really cutting edge LMS system that we're building
Mm.
and that we're going to utilize using a lot of AI technology, and you filmed this, and you're not even done yet, but you filmed this over the course of
Yep.
days in a
Yeah, it
studio.
took months to prepare,
Yeah.
and then I spent days in a professional studio out in Las Vegas recording all of this stuff. So it's fully interactive, it's fully gamified to help you guys build dopamine
Mhm.
because I know you need dopamine to stay motivated to continue the course. And here's the thing, 2 other things that I do. So it's not just that,
Mhm.
but there's 2 other very unique elements that I put into this because I know what it takes for people to be successful. And number 1 is a free course.
Mhm.
So anybody can get this free course. Anybody, everybody can get this free course. You don't have to pay a dime for it. Hit me up in the comments. We will send you a free course on how to be 4 times more successful at anything you do. You want to lose weight? I'm going to show you how to be 4 times more impactful. You want to make more money? I can teach you how to make 4 times as much money. You want to increase your mental resiliency? I can teach you how to do it 4 times faster. 4 times stronger, 4 times better. And this is not hyperbole. These are scientific facts. I've done the research. I understand how it works, and I've broken it down to help you. So you don't ever have to pay me a dime. I have a free course that you guys can take absolutely free, which will teach you how to do this because I want you to understand this. So that way, when you come into my course and you start to work through my curriculum, you're going to be 4 times more successful. And that's what I really want. That's why I give away that one for free. And it's probably one of the keys,
Mhm.
one of the huge keys to success in anything that you do in your life. And I remember when I was building the system, the people who were doing the recording, they're like, "Wait, you're just giving this is free?" I said, "Yeah, it's free." They said, "Wait, no, no, no. You should sell this as additional, as an upsell, because this is incredibly valuable. This is probably one of the most valuable things that you teach, and you're going to give it away." I said, "Yes, because even if they never pay me a dime, they're still going to have access to this incredible gem that if they use it, they will be more successful. And if they go try it on something else and they have success, maybe they'll come back and be like, hey, that really helped me. Let me see what else he's got.
Well,
So that's one of the things
yeah.
that I have.
One of the things, though, that I really like about what we did is that you are not just some guy out there saying, this is a $1,000 course. I'm selling it to you for $9.99. Download it now. You have to do it right now. You're not just ringing the register. And I know that a lot of people are gonna be like, yeah, right. You lived this.
Yeah.
Nothing that you're teaching, you haven't already had to apply. And that's because you struggled with the same exact things. I struggled with the same things. So we're not up here saying, I can 10x your business and never having owned a business.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I know you coaches right now, some of you guys are listening to me. Here's the thing. If you're a coach, stop selling results that you haven't gotten yourself. Just stop.
Yeah.
Stop buying a program from somebody and selling their results. It's disingenuous. People see right through it, and you wonder why you're struggling and you're not able to have success because you're not authentic, man. You haven't done it. I see business coaches because I do some business coaching with the blocks. And I see business coaches, people like, oh, I can make money getting into business coaching. And they never run a business. The only business that they have is that coaching business because they bought some sort of online certification from somebody and went through some classes. And now they're trying to coach people how to run a business. It's like, no, man, you've never been at work midnight on Friday, knowing that you're $10,000 short for payroll on Monday and not knowing what you're going to do. How the heck are you going to coach somebody through that? You've never lived it. And so if you're looking for a business coach, find one that's actually built businesses before, number one. And if you are a business coach and you've never run a business, stop selling results you don't have. Sell results you do have, because I guarantee you, you've had success in your life. There's something you're really good at. And so focus on what you know is true and good and authentic, and you will have success. I guarantee it. Free advice right there. If you're a coach and you're struggling, look at your authenticity. If you're not being authentic in what you're selling, stop. I don't care how much you paid for the system. Stop and start selling authenticity. Start selling your experience to help other people solve problems. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent, but man, that bothers me so much to see that coaching industry explode with people that have no idea what it takes to actually coach somebody through a process.
And so when we say that, you know, structure, routine, and discipline is going to help you lose weight. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I can teach you how to lose weight, because I'm still figuring that out. I'm still struggling with that, right? But what I can teach you, or what we can teach you, is mental resiliency and discipline. And those are the things that are going to lead you to success
Those are the
in whatever it is that you want to do, right? So as soon as you get your mind right and get your mental health under control and get that resiliency where you're not being derailed every time something doesn't go right, and you're not stuck in that negative bias, everything's going to change, right?
No. So everything doesn't change. You change.
Yeah.
And then how you see everything else. The world's still the same. The world still sucks. Okay, there's poverty and injustice everywhere. None of that's going to change. But how you navigate through it will change. And that changes everything for you, because you're going to, where you once saw an obstacle, you're going to see an opportunity.
Well, and you're not going to sit in the pity party justification, right?
Right.
You had mentioned trauma responses. And I hate the word trigger because it's become such a thing, right? It's I'm triggered. But
yeah. And when people say, oh, that triggered me. Great. Work through it. That's your trigger. It's not my responsibility. It's your responsibility. If you don't like what I'm saying, it is triggering you right now, you're proving my point. That's your trigger. You got to figure it out.
Right.
That's not my job.
Right.
Like, I shouldn't be a jerk, but even if I am, that's your issue. You have to figure out, how do I respond when somebody's a jerk? It's not anybody else's responsibility to tiptoe around your triggers.
Well, because the only thing you can control in this world is how you respond to
Mhm.
things, really. And you had mentioned that, and it kinda made me think about myself and how I used to have these moments where you would trigger me, and I would almost throw a temper tantrum. Do you remember this?
Almost.
To the point where I would stomp my foot, I would slam a cabinet. I mean, I was mentally reverting back to my childhood trauma,
Mhm.
uh, but as soon as I had the knowledge of what was happening to me in that moment and the awareness, the self-awareness of, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
I was able then to stop that negative reaction.
It's one of the things I teach. Stop, look, and listen. When the
Yeah.
trigger happens, you stop what you're doing, you look at your surroundings, and you listen to your body.
Mhm.
Like what trigger, what sensations are happening in my body, what started it, and then start working backwards.
Right. And that's been able to help me immensely. Just the knowledge, right? Knowledge has so much power. And you teach that to people. And not only are you teaching that on this LMS platform, which is super interactive, by the way.
Yeah.
I've gotten to play with it and it's incredible how interactive it is and how much response content you have recorded. But now you're adding in the live group coaching.
Yeah, so that's the second thing that,
Yeah.
I know, and they couldn't believe it either. They said, "That's not an upsell." I said, "No, I'm actually doing that for free. You don't even have to buy into the system
Mhm.
to be part of it. I just want people to know this stuff and start applying it."
Mm.
That's what I want people to do. And so, yeah, every week, it's gonna be on Thursdays. I'm gonna have a 30-minute group coaching where we're gonna talk about different mental health components. And we're going to go off of the cards that I built. And so I know some of you listening have gotten some of these cards. You guys absolutely love these. Everybody wants to buy them. The answer is no, you cannot buy these cards. The only way to get access to these cards is in the group. So if you don't know what the card is, it's a regular deck of cards. But every card, this one's a two of diamonds. This one's a six of diamonds. This one's a five of spades. So they all work as cards. But what happens when you choose one of these cards, okay, so this is going to be the Queen of Clubs, and this is what it says. We talk about a concept, and then we talk about the science behind it, and then a scripture verse that correlates. And so it says, God, this is the concept. God wired your healing through somebody else's breakthrough. If you've been waiting to feel whole, start pouring out what's left. That's what I just told you guys. Be authentic in what you're teaching people.
Mhm.
I just said that. I randomly pulled this card. That's how good this stuff is. Now, here's the science behind it. It says, give to get healed. Spiritual generosity triggers reward pathways. There's the word again, pathways, increasing resilience during hardship. So when you help other people and then you have a hard time, you've built mental resiliency to get through it easier because you've created positive neural pathways. Okay. You guys starting to see how all of this stuff comes together? I know for some of you guys, it's blowing your mind right now. For others of you, you're like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. And some of you guys are just lost in the sauce. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about. It doesn't matter which one of those three groups you're in, get into this free class and you're going to be able to learn these things and apply them. Because what I do is that little snippet that I gave you guys, we also have a scripture verse and it says, this is Isaiah 58:10. If you pour yourself out, your healing will spring up quickly. And so this comes from a much larger piece of scripture that I absolutely love. And it says that, when it says this is they're talking about fasting. It says this is the author says this is the fast that I choose to feed the hungry,
Mm.
to clothe the naked, to visit those who are in prison. It says when I do this, that my healing will spring up speedily. That's literally what it says in the book, and science proves it. These guys didn't know anything about the brain, how it operated, but they were given this knowledge and they've written it down in this book. And it's being proven by modern neuroscience. So when you come into the group, this is the discussion that we have. I've built an entire 3-page lesson for that. It's 3 pages long that I go through. And I also teach you how to do 5 activities that will actually help you build that resilience. Because I want to do 3 things. right? You guys all know it, right? Say it with me. We want to educate, empower, and encourage you on your mental health journey. So when you're there, I'm going to educate you about this concept. And then I'm going to empower you by giving you 5 things that you can do, 5 things to build resilience. And then I'm going to encourage you to take next steps and get into that free course that I built, absolutely free, so you can start to have 4 times more impact on your mental health. And so those are my 3 buckets that I'm going to fill this year.
One of the biggest memories that I have on you teaching this to me, this rewriting my neural pathways, right? Rewiring my brain. You took me to Cambodia, and it had to have been our second trip out there. And we're in this rice field on the border of Vietnam and Cambodia. It's one of the most one of the most heavily trafficked borders. And we built a playground. I don't know if you remember this, but we brought in tons, literal tons and tons of dirt to fill up this rice
paddy.
And we shipped in a play set. And I'm not talking like just a swing set. We shipped in a massive play set. And we built a nice fence around this. And we built that play set in the middle of this rice field. And I remember the local village kids just kind of watching us. Remember that? They were just kind of like, what are they doing? It's these bright colors. You know, they had a big green slide, this huge plastic green slide, and it had swings and it had all this stuff. And the kids were so excited. I remember standing there watching them. They were so excited when we were done. And you guys were like, okay, guys, now's your moment. You know, you released the children to go and play on this set. And they all ran towards it screaming and they were so excited. And they got to it and they were like, what do we do with this? They had no idea what to do with it, right? And you guys, and I say you guys, it was you and some of the veterans that you brought, and I got to go along and ended up showing them how to play.
Yeah, on the play set.
These grown men, like these combat-hardened veterans, were out there going down the slide, swinging on the swings, going across the monkey bars. And as soon as the kids realized, okay, this is what we do with this, the amount of laughter and joy in this safe environment that we had created for them to come. It was the Children at Risk Center is what we also ended up building there. But the playground was the first thing that we put up. It healed my heart. And it helped me because I stood there and was like, I was part of this. I got to impact the lives of all of these little kids and show them that there's joy in their life that I had never had as a little kid like that. Was so healing to my soul. So it's not that we're just telling people to do these things. We've done these things.
For 17 years.
For 17 years.
We've been building churches, schools, orphanages, digging wells, building play sets all over the world.
We've been learning this and putting it into practice. This isn't something that we're just saying, oh, go and do it, right? Because you can tell everybody, go be nice and go help others.
I didn't just chat GPT this.
No, and sometimes
and then be like, oh, I see these things all the time. Like, hey, you got a course idea? Just pay your $750, and in 2 days we will have this thing chat GPT'd for you.
No.
It's like, no, this is how we've lived for 17 years.
Yeah, and some of it we've learned by doing. Some of it we've actually been out there and experiencing it, going, wait, what's happening right now? Why am I feeling this way? And then you go back and pour over research studies and scripture, and you're like, this is what happened, Holly. This is why now when you see something, when you see little kids enjoying their childhood that you never got to have, it doesn't make you feel bitter and sad. It makes you joyful for them. So that's an example of a neural pathway that was changed for me, is that up until that point, I'd see all these little kids and I was like, oh, you don't even know how lucky you are. You don't even know how good you got it, right? Because I had that bitterness. And so that has changed that whole perspective for me just by doing, by going out and helping other people And it doesn't ever have, you don't have to go overseas and you don't have to go far away and spend a ton of money. I do that here at home.
As much as we've done overseas, we do 10 times more here locally.
Yes.
10 times more
Yeah.
here locally.
You know, we'll see a kid that's really into like turtles, for example. I know you'll know who I'm talking about. But there's this little girl at church who loves turtles. And so I had this silver turtle bracelet that I had never worn sitting in a drawer. And I'm like, oh my goodness, she's going to love this. So I brought it to church one Sunday and I just gave her the little bracelet and walked away. And she loved that bracelet. Her mom messaged me later about how grateful she was, and how much she adores this little bracelet, which was nothing to me, right? I mean, it's just a bracelet that was in a drawer that I never even looked at. But for her, that did something. And because of that, that helped heal my heart, right? Because now I'm looking at opportunities everywhere I go.
Yep.
I'm open to what's surrounding me and the people around me and how I can impact them because of what you have taught and how well it works.
Yeah, it does. It works tremendously well.
Yeah. So if nothing else, your 17 years of research and work, congratulations, you helped to heal your wife.
About time. I was thinking, man, I must really suck at this if my wife's not even listening to me.
You said that to me once. You're like,
I said that to you yesterday. No, I'm just kidding.
no, you said that to me once where you were like, does what I teach not have value? Does it not work? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's fantastic. What you teach is great. You're like, then why don't you use it? And I think I got abrasive. I think I was like, oh, whatever, Erin, just because I don't wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. But then I had to do a little bit of soul searching and be like, gosh, why am I not utilizing every piece of knowledge that you have fought so hard to learn the hard way? Most of it that you know now, you have learned the hard way. You did not just wake up and punch in a prompt to an AI bot and it give you a solution. You learned it the hard way by doing it. And it was really hard fought. You used to go on missions without me in the beginning because I didn't want to go. And it would make you sick.
Yeah, because I didn't understand what was happening. Because I was in such a heightened state of adrenaline and cortisol, and my body would live in that for 2 weeks. I'd be sick to my stomach when I was there, like super bad diarrhea, like upset stomach. I was having night terrors. Like it was miserable. And some of you guys listening are like, I remember those days because you were out there with me before I had this massive company, before I had this award-winning nonprofit, before I had written a book or had a podcast. I was the guy who was just sweating it out at nights in, Haiti, sick to my stomach, miserable. And I remember guys saying, man, Q, why do you keep going? Like, dude, you get sick every time. Like, because I got to figure out why and how to overcome it. And that's when I started doing the research, started figuring it out. And then I had to try different things to see, okay, let's try this, let's try that, until I got this thing dialed in to where it is now. But yeah, it was rough.
And
Those early years.
And had you had to do that on pure motivation, you would have given up the first time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It came down to discipline.
It was all discipline.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Yeah. Well, here's what we have for you guys. It's a little bit of a long one for our first ones out the gate. Jess will be with us next week. You're going to get more of the same, but we're going to talk about mental health. We're going to educate you on these things. We're going to empower you with some really cool tools and then encourage you to take next steps. And next steps right now is for you guys. Send us a message. We'll get you dialed in to this free group. Absolutely free. Bring a friend, bring a family member, share it out, join this group and learn about the brain. And it's going to be very structured. Like we just showed you, it's one card that we go over and 5 activities you can do. You're going to come in, you're going to spend 20 to 30 minutes with me, and we're just going to get down to business. you're going to learn some stuff, and you're going to walk away better and stronger than you were when you came in. All right. So for the mental health janitors, I'm Sergeant Q,
And I'm Mrs. Q.
and we're out.